Salutations, everyone. It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back for another installment of the Sunday Spotlight, where we spotlight everything in the world of professional wrestling. But today, we got to give it up for the ladies. This episode is our spotlight for women's wrestling, and we are going to do this a little differently than we do other episodes. We don't have an interview. We're not going to do the whole, picking one talent at a time. We're gonna go through a couple promotions, right? We got four categories. We got WWE and NXT. We got AEW and ROH. We got TNA, MLW, and International, and then we got the Indies. So me and my great panel for today's show are going to break it down, and let me introduce them to y'all. First and foremost, we gotta give it up for her. Because if we ain't doing a women's show, we gotta do ladies first. We haven't seen her in a little while. We missed her. She been ducking and dodging me for some odd reason. My heart's a little broken off of that, but it's all good. Megan, how are you today?
Hey, good morning, everybody. New week, new hair. So I'm feeling a little new today. Um, Happy Sunday. Um, I'm just, I'm a little tired. Okay, I've been doing Comic Con for the last 2 days, a little under the weather, but when I heard that this was going to be the topic of this week, I couldn't miss this episode. I mean, this is a very important topic to my heart, so I'm just glad to be here with two of my favorite guys, Drizzy and Shy.
And we are happy to have you back. We can't have a show talking about women's wrestling without the Queen of Wrestling Republic. So good to have you back, Megan. Last but not least, man, it's 1/3 of the best Tuesday night show out there. If you don't like organized religion, I got something you can believe in, and that is my guy, Big Driz. How you doing, bro?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. I got one thing to say before we get into it. This one is for the ladies.
I love it, man. And man, we love professional wrestling, and all of us are big fans of women's wrestling. We've been
Yes.
on record talking about, the ladies deserve more time, the same amount of time as men do on shows and whatnot. It's always been a debate in situations like that. But you know what? The way to showcase and show love is using a platform to do so. So we thought it was really important for today's episode to do that. You know, I'm gonna give a shout out to the PWI 500. They dropped the 500 women for 2024. And salute to them for doing that because even if you want to debate the list and all that, that's cool. But just putting a light out on 500 talented women that are in the industry of professional wrestling, all 500 of those women deserve it. So salute to y'all. But today we're gonna just do it all way the Wrestling Republic way. We're gonna talk about our favorite women in those categories, and we're gonna start it off with the WWE and NXT. And
Big
how we're
Fed.
gonna do this is, what you say, bro?
The Big Fed.
The
Like I'm a
big
big
fed,
Fed, little
yeah,
Fed. Yep.
yeah, big fed and little fed. They the big dogs. They the popular wrestling promotion that people know. But we gonna go through everyone's favorite first, and talk a little bit about it. And like I said, it's ladies first over here. So we're gonna start it off with
Ladies
Megan.
first.
Who
Ladies
is
first.
your favorite women's wrestler currently in the WWE?
Okay, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a little stumped at first because, as I explained it to you, my default is Bianca Belair. I mean, she's a 10 out of 10. She's like perfect on paper. She's perfect in the ring. She looks good. But I had to give a spotlight to this particular woman wrestler because she has had such an amazing year, and that will be our current women's champion, Nia Jax. Now, I think the beginning of her year was her match with Rhea Ripley at Elimination Chamber in Australia. And I think it was at that moment we knew that they had big plans for her. And she went on, she won the title, she became queen. Well, she became queen of the ring, won the title, and and now she just dominating SmackDown. Um, Despite the things that people have had to say about Naya, there is just something so grand about her. There's just something so. She just have a very large personality, and like we were speaking before, there's a comedic side to Naya, especially with her current storyline with Tiffany, that kind of just enhances her championship run as well. Now, of course, whether Tiffany successfully cashes in on her, that's a whole nother story. But I do like the dynamics that them two have together currently. And I feel like if there's no one else I can think of who has had a bigger year as a women's wrestler in WWE outside of Naya. Maybe Jade Cargill. I would definitely say Jade Cargill is um, the second women's wrestler that had a big year this year. But yeah, I got to give it to my girl Naya, and she looks good every week too.
For sure, man. We talk about sorry, that's the wrong one. We talk about rehires, right? That Triple
Yeah.
H came back, and I think you can argue that two of the best rehires are two ladies. Chelsea Green, I want to give her flowers for a quick second.
Yes.
She's been incredible, but Nia Jax may be the best one so far.
Hands
Just
down.
the fact,
I
Hands
think
down.
so.
yeah, like the accolades is like that's the thing that you mentioned. The accolades, Queen of the Ring, becoming the women's champion, being the dominant champion on SmackDown at the current time, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's really elevated herself as a in-ring competitor. She's had a lot of good matches too. I've enjoyed her matches with Bailey. I enjoyed the match with Rhea a lot, even in a losing effort. Her and Rhea was a really good match. Um, and the character work, like it's really she's showing more personality. The stuff with her and Tiffany, I was saying before the show started, it reminds me of roles reverse with the Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax stuff from years ago, where now Nia is kind of like the bully, the to the other individual in Tiffany, where she's kind of in Nia's role, where she was getting bullied, and it shows growth. And I think Nia Jax is doing absolutely splendid work. There's nothing I can
Yeah.
criticize or say bad about her for this calendar
Yeah.
year. She's really showing the f out.
She
So yeah,
is. She is. Even her little brief um her brief beef with Becky, when they kind of brought that back
good too.
Mhm.
momentarily. It's just shown the growth that um she had accomplished while being away. You could tell that she has definitely taken her craft really to heart. So
Mhm.
when she was ready to come back, she definitely proved that they made the right choice by bringing her back. So,
She
um,
has
you
beaten
know,
two horsewomen this year.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
that's a accomplishment in itself. Drizzy, you got any other anything for Naya?
Just echoing the same thing you said. One of the best rehired since the new Triple H era. She's shown so much growth. She's shown so much evolution. She's light years away from where she was before. And wasn't I was a big fan of her beforehand, but she's just honed in on it and doubled down and gotten better.
Mhm.
Absolutely love all the adjustments she's made. She's also a very charming person. Just
Yeah,
I, how you could dislike her, I'll never know. Total Divas did her no justice at all. She is an absolutely amazing person,
sure.
and yeah,
Yeah, no, big ups to her. Um, we'll keep you on the docket though, Drizzy, because I want to know who your favorite women's wrestler or wrestlers, if it's a team, uh,
ooh,
in WWE at the moment.
because I'm difficult, and y'all know I love my NXT girlies. We are going to NXT for the Metaphor Girls, Lash Legend Jakar Jackson. Dating back to last, I want to say November, they have been on a bit of a roll. The Lash Legends' incredible, dominant performance in the Iron Survivor match, to even having two matches in the same night and challenging for the women's title at the same time. She has been a dominant force in NXT. Their presence has always failed. The Trick Williams feud earlier this year with her and that involved Noam Dar that then transferred over to Ethan Page. It and the chemistry she has with Trick Williams, who I don't know if we're gonna break the fourth wall on that one, but Lash Legend has proven to be a force and a must see product in NXT. Jakara Jackson was up and coming, and now is here. Sidetracked a little bit by injury, but still knows how to make the most out of her minutes on TV. The the Metaphor Girls are what they're part of the new breed of NXT women that know how to make things work, even when things aren't working for you. Between injuries, story changes, they always seem to make sure they're in the right place at the right time. Even dating back to last week and this week. Last week, women's title match interrupted by Crash Out Owens, and still felt a way to make the most out of it with an incredible showing against tag champs Bianca and Jade, and also making their mark on Raw, and also making their mark against Chelsea Green. And again, we I don't think we this show can say too many. We cannot talk about Chelsea Green enough. She is, but Lash and Jakara, my picks. I can't say enough. Yeah, if you want to hear me really talk about them, I really go off on Tuesday nights about them because I love them to death. But yeah, those are my girls.
I like it a lot, man. I'm a big fan of them too. Obviously, we talk about them in a lot of detail on Tuesday nights. But Lash Legend specifically, she is in ring wise could be like a Kevin Nash, an Undertaker for the women's division off of just in ring ability, like just being as nimble as she is, as tall, strong. The moves that she hit last night were like absolutely stellar on a person of Piper Niven's size, and it looked
Mhm.
clean. She just really showed out. And no, I'm not saying she's gonna be the next Undertaker or Kevin Nash. People in the comments, so pump the brakes. But I'm just
No,
saying
no,
off of the ability of like just she's a pure athlete. She's a former
Mhm.
professional basketball player. Like y'all
yes,
don't understand. That's like if of somebody from the NBA just came in and start killing it in the WWE. Right? She was
yes,
a WNBA
absolutely.
player. That shit is amazing. So
Mhm.
salute to her and Jakara Jackson, man. She just looks absolutely great. She plays her role well. The confidence that she has when she comes out there, how
What
she
she
talks in the
has,
backstage segments.
what Jakara has, is that in wrestling you have to be able to tell stories with your body language. She may not talk a lot, but the body language, she knows how to convey emotions without having to say too much.
Hmm.
It's very important in wrestling.
Yeah, she's absolutely great. They look so damn good as a
Mhm.
team. Like I can't stress that enough. Like they just my whole thing is always like I want a team to look like a team, and they look like a team. Uh, Megan, thoughts on the meta two at the moment?
Meta too. I mean, just just riding back on what Drizzy said. I think last week we all um collectively wanted to like knock some sense into Papa H's head because it's like
Yeah.
it was just a week prior you made your bad blood comments and
Mm-hmm.
already had people a little upset. Um, and then the following week, you have this match with these four women, a never before type of match, a first of its kind um, match amongst these four black women. And you let Kevin come and kind of
Crash
make
out.
a mess of himself. And,
Yeah.
I know people saw it as, well, yeah, you got these three men kind of interrupting this match, but it's like we saw it differently. But overall, I'm just really glad that they're, like it was mentioned before, they trying to fix the problem that they have had with them. I mean, they literally just they never had a match on the main roster before. So now they're starting to show their talents in on a bigger scale, and I really love that for them, and I can't wait until we get that redo. Even though they're not taking the belts from my girls Bianca and Jade.
Honestly, it's a win-win situation either way it goes. In fact, let them have like a best of seven series.
You
I
know
mean,
what, Megan? I'm gonna actually disagree with you. I think the smartest thing to do is eventually have them beat Jade and Bianca for them belts.
they so.
I think you make them even bigger stars by doing that, and you
Mm,
legitimately like. I feel like that brings legitimacy to the conversation about them tag titles, putting them on like a legitimate tag
tag
team
team.
rather than a makeshift team. But y'all just beat Jade and Bianca. That's like
I mean, yeah,
that's something that
that would
they
be
might not do.
major.
They might not do it. You might be right because wrestling companies are stupid and they don't do stuff that makes sense by having a
They don't like
young
money.
wrestler.
They don't like money.
No, I mean,
You know.
I think if it's pointed out to them the exact way that you had said it, and this is a way to like really jump them, and also you could kind of like bridge a story between Bianca and Jade to where they possibly start feuding of some sort because of losing the titles to these NXT stars.
Yeah,
Um, that's a way to make some, like I said,
makes some
money.
sense
You
for sure.
know,
For sure.
see, they got that new writers position available. We need to
All put. We all
try
need to put
what
applications after the show. Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the last one for WWE. Um, on my favorite, and my favorite is it's difficult because I definitely y'all know I'm a Tiffany Stratton truther, the leader of the Tatum Paxley fan club. I think Roxanne Perez is amazing, but I had to think about who my favorite women's wrestler is in the WWE, and that's all three brands, and it's definitely the genius of the Sky, Io Shirai, Io Sky now, and she is someone I've been a fan of since the Stardom days. Even doing a lot of work on Lucha Underground, and then when she got to NXT, like it just instantly clicked. I think Io is the most one of the most talented in ring wrestlers in the entire world, male or female. She just is able to do stuff. in a crazy manner in regards to high flying, but just the speed, the striking. Like she's just an overall wrestling savant. She's just so much better than everyone else when you talk about bell for bell wrestling. But a lot of it is just the character aspect of it too. When the song hits and she comes out and it's dark and she's doing the thing like laying like doing the Matrix pose with her hood and just going crazy, walking around like she had a couple drinks out of the bar, like just wilding out. She really gets into that bag and she locks in, and it's something that I appreciate. I love, I love the Damage Control faction. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people don't like it as much, but the initial one with Bailey, Dakota, and her, then we add Kyrie Sane and Oscar later to the mix. I feel like her kind of being the ringleader of it, it was something I enjoyed. Maybe the booking wasn't the best, but I thought it was cool, especially to see a Joshi faction in the WWE with Oscar, Kyrie, and Io Sky, and the story with her and Bailey, the match with her and Bailey at Mania, it was just absolutely phenomenal this past year. I think her and Kyrie going into the mix for the tag titles, big time match against the Meta 2 girls on NXT this coming Tuesday. She's doing a lot of great stuff in the WWE, and she also had an opportunity to go back to Japan this year, had a banger match with Utami at the Marigold show. Like it's just one of those things where Io is just super duper talented, and it's hard for me not to be a fan of her. So she is my favorite women's wrestler that I want to spotlight from the WWE. Thoughts, guys?
Mhm. You went blank for a sec. Uh, Go ahead, Meg.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you good.
Um, I honestly I agree with everything that you said. I mean, there's something really special about EO. I mean, so she gets on my nerves sometimes. I'd be lying if I said she didn't. She do. But there was something missing with her not being there. So they came back when she came back with Dakota Kai um and Bailey, they were good bad guys. They were good villains. And I know the change between being bad and good was a little awkward because now damage control is kind of good. Um, but yeah, just I have the very same sentiments about EO. I think she's a world class athlete.
For sure, for sure.
Yep.
Driz, you got any thoughts and comments?
EO is the opening to the worldwide door for WWE. They would be leaving money on the table if they didn't send EO Sky all over this country, all over the world to just wrestle some of the best and create that olive branch. Like what we kind of say about Natalia, like if you're gonna send your best wrestler, Natalia's not wrestling as much now. It seems like she's on a part-time schedule. EO's next up. One
Mm.
of the best wrestlers in the company, like physical, build the bell in ring wrestlers. That is an absolute person that you need to be backing at all times. And it seems like that's what they're doing. They gave her a big win over Bianca a little bit ago, which just means the world because Bianca is almost a juggernaut at this point in time. That is a good pick for you, Shad, and a great pick for the WWE to just put a rocket on her back and make her your ambassador to the world.
Yeah. No, that's you said that like perfectly. I think ambassador being that door for the international, especially how prominent Japanese wrestling is.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's a legend over there. So it's great to see. All right, let's go to the next brand that we got. And this one is AEW and Ring of Honor, just like how it was with WWE and NXT. They are tied together. under the same umbrella. And I'm gonna start with you, Drizzy. I want to see who your favorite wrestler is from the AEW Ring of Honor brand.
My current favorite wrestler is Space Jesus herself, Billy Starks. Probably the youngest wrestler, full time wrestler in AEW at the moment. She has been wrestling nonstop since she was 16 years old, and I have watched her in death matches. I've watched her in ladder match. I've watched her in almost every type of match you could think of, and she just shines. One of the brightest young stars, the future of wrestling as a whole. Billy Starks is that. Do not be surprised in years from now you're seeing her on Double or Nothing posters. Maybe years later you'll see her on WrestleMania posters. But Billy Starks is the future of wrestling, and she has been blessed being mentored by some of the best. She is like gonna be a incredible mix of greatness. Honestly, this is what you get when you pour into some of the younger wrestlers. You don't have those guys that just are clinging on for life, but they actually give these gifts to the younger wrestlers. I've seen her, currently she's being mentored by our forever champion in Ring of Honor, Athena, who has been on probably one of the greatest runs in the last 10 years. He has been mentored by her, been placed in prominent positions by her. The first ever Ring of Honor women's television champion, Billy Starks has, and she's not even in her prime. That's the crazy thing about it. Not even in her prime. And I'm not saying all this just because she's from Louisville. It is literally documented. There are so many companies I've never heard a bad thing said about her. Billy Starks, my pick for a future of wrestling. Thank
Man, I like that a lot, bro. I think Billy Starks is someone that I got familiar with a few years ago when she was just a little baby, 16, 17 years old in the independents. I heard about her and Nick Wayne just absolutely killing the indie scene. And she's a tough competitor. Like she was doing a lot of like in the GCW shows,
you.
going against a lot of incredible competitors at a young age and still super young. She's like what, 20? Not even
She
21?
is she's 19 years old.
Crazy.
Just
You talk
graduated. Just literally graduated up the street
last
in
year.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Crazy. Yeah. She is definitely a special talent, as good as she is at a young of an age. My favorite Jade match, one of my favorite Jade matches. I won't say it was my favorite Jade match, but one of my favorite Jade matches in AEW was her and Billy Starks. I think during her title reign, I thought Billy and her had a good sense of chemistry with each other. And as much as I love Jade, it left me impressed with Billy in a way because I'm like, yo, she's young as hell, like just as new to the business, and she's really doing her job, playing a great dance partner to what you needed to do. You gotta, you look good in regards to fighting from underneath and being the underdog, but you're also making our champion look amazing, and that's the stuff that does not get a lot of credit from people.
Mhm,
Being a good seller and all of that. So she's
mhm,
hella talented, man, and I think she's gonna be one of the top women in AEW if she stays there down the road. Like I agree with you.
mhm. She's gonna be a number one wrestler. I promise you.
For sure, for sure. Megan, any thoughts on Billy?
Um, I just think of a lot of the young wrestlers that is under the age of 25, and you know that they're going to have a lengthy career, like Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, and of course Billy. And it makes you more hopeful in the different type of wrestling styles. Um, and just to have the opportunity to watch these wrestlers become future legends in their own right. And although I'm not necessarily familiar with Billy to the same extent as you two, I do remember um, she had a little feud with Queen Eminata on Ring of Honor and Athena, and she was really hanging with them in the ring. I mean, she was wrestling as though she's been wrestling for 10, 20 years or so. Um, so yeah, just like y'all said, she's get familiar with her now because her name is going to be everywhere years from now, and you're going to kind of wish that you have seen her in her beginning stages. Is what I would say.
Buy
No,
your
for sure.
stock.
Buy your
Buy
stock
your
now.
stock. Like, cause
Facts.
last year it was 65 cents a share. She's at $20 now. Don't be surprised when she hit that $100 in a year
On
from
that
now.
bus for sure.
Mhm.
I like that. That's funny. Megan, I'm gonna ask you now. We are in the land of all elite and Ring of Honor. Who you
Yes.
trying to spotlight?
Ah, so I am highlighting my girl, Chris Statlander. I'll admit I was a little upset with her when she let Trent get into her head and go against the grain. I was even more upset with her when she let Stokely get in her head and go against the grain again with Willow. But, there's always been something about Chris Statlander that has just drawn my attention. I don't know if it's just her. I think it has a lot to do with her ability as a wrestler, but also there's just a very unique side of Chris, her personality, her character that always make me sit or stop what I'm doing and watch her matches. And so far, this has been a really good year for her. I feel like she's kind of stepping out of these partnerships that she was put in, with the best friends, which was a years long little, not like a tag team of fraction. Um, and then she took a back seat to Willow as Willow was challenged, was holding the TBS title and ultimately lost the title to Mercedes. And now it seems like they finally got her on the right lane to where she herself can possibly challenge um, Mercedes for the title. And I'm hoping that that's the next feud because it seems like that's what they're eyeballing. Um, but also, it seems like they kind of want to build something with her and Camille. But just like with Naya, I feel like Chris has had a steady growth this year. It didn't just shot out and she became champion. It's a steady growth. And that's what usually um keeps the fans entertained, it keeps them engaged, and it makes you want to root for that wrestler. And I feel like Chris has had a steady growth um, this year, and she just seems like the best choice for me to spotlight this for this special edition. So I'm spotlighting Chris for AEW.
I love it. You know what? We're recording this on Saturday, technically, so that is her mantra. Statlander is a underrated talent in that division. Um, I don't know why she doesn't get the praise as a lot of other counterparts do throughout her time. Maybe it was because she was hurt for a little while, and then booking was a little muddy at times. But she's just an absolute beast. And she like to me, she has that same presence of a dominant, you know, just straight horse, like going strong, fast, all of that. And she looks the part too. Like she kind of gives me a little bit of like a Rhea Ripley vibes on the AEW side of just off of the
Yeah.
aesthetic of what she does. And you know, I thought she had the moment where she got to end Jade's streak, right? And then she
Yeah.
beat Jade in her last match in AEW. Um,
Mhm.
she's underrated, man, and she's definitely someone that is a special talent in AEW.
I,
Yeah. Honestly.
I truly believe that if the injuries didn't happen, she would have been AEW Women's Champion by now, and she would have been probably the face to take over after Britt Baker as the face of AEW. I just think the injuries is what got in the way. Other things getting away along those lines, but she was one of the first big signings along with Big Swole when they started bringing in those women. Because remember, they used to do those big video packages, kind of just telling how great they are. It was those first two were Big Swole and Chris Statlander, and Chris. I've never seen her not make something work when she was doing the alien gimmick. Everybody booping everybody. Best friends. She was the voice of reason. Everybody loved it. Even now, even when she was doing with Stokely, that seems to have ended now, she still was more over in that whole situation. I don't think Stokely really helped to get her to that next level, even going further. And now she's getting ready to be the number one contender for the women's title. I guess. Give
Yeah.
it to us. Give it to us. She deserves it. I need to see a poster with her headlining.
Yeah, for sure. She's definitely a special talent. So I love that pick. All right. My pick is someone that a lot of people might not like at this moment because she took out a fan favorite. She took out, people say, the number one women in wrestling, Tony Storm. My favorite woman that I want to spotlight is the glamour, Mariah May. I feel Mariah May has overpassed any expectations that AEW could imagine when they, got her onto the roster. I think the way that they brought her in, the storyline with Tony Storm was brilliant, kind of being the understudy, then overthrowing her. And I just think that she's arguably the best heel on that roster at the current time. She has a personality that is so conniving, so dastardly and evil, where it's just absolutely brilliant. You know, the moment of her beating Storm with the shoe, getting the championship off of her, she's just doing elite work in All Elite Wrestling. And even little things like her promo this past Wednesday, right? Touching on bases of stuff that happens outside of the world, talking about the awkward press conference from last week where nobody wanted to ask her a question. Like, she's just so in tune with everything. She's got so much confidence. She is the glamour. And I think she is the perfect heel champion for this next iteration and reign for AEW. And I think on that standpoint, it benefits a lot of the women's division too, because when you got someone that much of a heel, I feel like you're gonna want to root for whatever babyface you put in front of her. You know, you talk about her match with Anna Jay that's gonna happen probably already last night as this airs, but going in with that, and then you got other women where they need to kind of create baby faces. When you got a bad guy that good enough, it makes it easier for that to be made. And I've been on record saying it. I think the potential, continuation of Willow and her, like they need to just continue to be rivals, because that is the best baby face versus the best heel. That's something generational that you can create. We need to get back to that at some point down the road, where Willow, may overtake her and beat her. But at the moment, man, Mariah May is just killing it, lights out. Also, her in ring ability is super good. She was wrestling out in Stardom for all those years. She knows how to strike and hit like a Joe. She has that strong style ability. She's just an absolute star. So I gotta give love to the glamour, Mariah May. Thoughts on that, guys? Am I crazy?
No, definitely not. Mariah May, somebody who I've recently learned about in the last 2 years. Impressed with the work that she does, and by the time she got to AEW, just blown away at her heel work. She took probably the hottest storyline of the year, definitely in the hottest storyline of the year, with the number one wrestler, and found a way to come out on top. This is how you build stars. That exact way. And you have to commend how she's even taken it further because she is, I don't want to say she's a delusional heel, but she definitely plays that, you know what, you people are trash anyway, so I don't care what you guys think. But Mariah is absolutely amazing as a heel. I can't wait to see what she does next.
She definitely plays. Don't fans over there don't get mad at me, but it's a lot of people see like a lot of people in the Brits can kind of be a little, I'm better than you kind of mantra in a
Mm,
way. She carries that like a very, a sense of like she's
okay,
revered. Like, yeah, she treats them like she's like y'all are like kind of like beneath me type of situation, and I like that in a way. I love even when she was doing the talking on the announcing for the Fatal Four Way last week. She was like, "I just all four of them can lose in some way. I don't want to have to wrestle anybody at Wrestle Dream." Type
it's
of stuff.
actually a very good take on
Kept calling her, what's her name,
again
Velma?
another. It's of that and a combination of that and a character that Chelsea Green again, whoever has the way to rear her head again,
Yeah,
that she has of just being this. Oh, this is this, and you guys are just yeah. But it's very it's a great way to put your own spin on stuff that's going on. Like wrestling, nothing's original in wrestling. She found a way to make this hers.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. So I mean that those are some good picks. Any last words before we get to the next grouping?
Um, no, it's just like y'all said. I mean, just like Drizzy, I just come to learn about Mariah May, but um, the storyline between her and Tony literally carried throughout the entire year. I can't think of any other woman's storyline that really topped it. Not even the Rhea and Liv, not the Bailey and Nia, not the Nia and Rhea. I mean, there was an actual plot building between those two. And, I'm still not over Mariah slapping her own mama during the title defense. Like, how, girl, if that wasn't a heel move, I
I
don't
love
know what
it.
was. But um, I like watching Mariah. I really do. I like watching her. I like watching her matches. She's just so great on camera, and yeah, I mean that was a really good choice. I would have chose her, but you know, Chris is my girl, so
Yeah, and there's like a whole man. There's a lot of ladies on that roster that it was hard. Willow is someone that we gotta. I think is our favorite all
yeah.
in general.
Yes, yes. That was a
And
cop
yeah,
out
like
window.
also
We
I'm gonna give an honorable mention from AW though. I love Harley Cameron. I love
She
her
is
so
a
much.
card. Oh my god.
She's so funny, yo. She
She has
gets
had so many clips online this year alone that would just crack you up. I mean, I hope to one day be able to have her on this show because
oh yeah.
we got some questions for her. Like, what was it? She wolfed down a bottle of water, I think it was. It was amazing. I was intrigued.
Yeah.
So,
She's
yeah.
she's definitely a funny definitely a great TV character for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to these last two. We're gonna start with this topic. This category is the lights of TNA, MLW, or international. That's obviously like CMLL, Stardom, Tokyo Joshi Pro, Marigold, like you name it, Triple R, all of it. And we will start with ladies first again. Megan, I
Ooh,
want to know that who are
ladies
you
first. Ladies first.
spotlighting from those promotions?
Well, I am going to be quick, but I'm spotlighting one of my favorite women wrestlers in TNA right now, and that is Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooks in WWE NXT. And I wasn't very sure about the character at first. I'll be honest. I thought there was such a discord online about the comparisons between her character and Tony Storm, Timeless Tony Storm, and the comparisons between the two. But now you can see just how far different both characters are, and even though it didn't seem like they knew exactly where they wanted to go with her when she was on NXT, she was kind of like a mentor to Kalani. Now that she is on TNA, I just I really got it's been a long drawn for me with this character. It was the same way with the Timeless Tony Storm. It's like after you watch it every week, you just get adjusted to it. And I watched her match this past week with her name skipped me, but she is an NXT star. And just when she would ask her manager to come and put lipstick on, and just little things throughout the match that just makes you laugh, and it's very over the top, her personality and stuff. And I think she has really found her space now with TNA. Like she's not blending in with the other women wrestlers. Like she's in her own personal lane in TNA. And I just had to I had to give a shout out to Ash. I mean, I really like watching her. So that is my spotlight for TNA Ash by Elegance.
I'm gonna go ahead. I feel like it's
Elegance.
important. I'm gonna apologize to Ash by Elegance.
Hmm.
I had a very funny yet mean nickname for her that I won't say. I blame Clark for laughing at it so much because it egged me on to continue it. But I'm actually, truth be told, I'm happy for her. Sometimes where it feels like you get out of the WWE and it can kind of be discouraging, she's able to find her way on the TNA and she's been shining. She's probably one of the bigger focal points in the knockouts division at the current juncture of time. She's played her role really well. And I think the rebranding and finding a character is the most important thing. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
WWE never gave her due diligence of finding a character that we could kind of sink our teeth in, and I think she's really found that in TNA. And I want her now that there's that partnership. I think her and Kalani got to run it back at some point. We never really got a payoff for it. Them
Mm-hmm.
having a match needs to kind of happen.
Yeah. Um, I've been rooting for her for a while now. I've seen her. I've seen what she could do since Black and Gold NXT. She was teamed with Emma. She's teamed with Mandy, and it's like every time they're so start and stop with her. I'm so happy that TNA got a hold of her and they let her. Like, you know what? You never got a chance to fly. Flap your wings and let's see what you can do. And she has taken off. She has flown. She's soaring through the skies. Do not be surprised if she ends up back in WWE eventually.
Yeah,
I
as
think
this
that the
character.
time the time in TNA has a great I don't know, they have a great track record of taking people and letting them reinvent themselves. It's almost
Hmm.
a developmental without having the actual partnership, and I absolutely love that for them.
Facts.
Like, just I'm just happy that she's getting the chance to truly show what she can do.
Yes.
That's a fact. It's a fact. Drizzy, I'm gonna go to you on this one next. Who are you spotlighting?
I will try to keep this brief because I know we're working against the clock. MLW, I am spotlighting you because you guys do not get the love that you deserve. You are trying to build a women's division, and it's not really seen too much because of the tape show thing, but you have centered it around Contra's kick demon, Janai Kai, one of the most skilled wrestlers in that company and in wrestling. Janai Kai's kicks are more lethal than anything I've seen. I haven't seen people kick people like that since Rob Van Dam and X Pac. She legit strikes fear in you. She could be a horror movie monster if she really wanted to. Like literally, it is probably you'd be. It's one of those things you'd rather be punched in the face by her than kicked because I feel like it would have you looking like a cartoon where your whole face gets sunken in. Janai Kai is one of the most lethal strikers in wrestling. Somebody you should definitely keep your eye on because she will be a big deal in the near future. It's just a matter of time.
Man, I agree 100%. If y'all not hip to Janai Kai,
Yeah.
please get hip to her. She is a absolute like just a fun professional
Be
wrestler. Yeah,
be
she's
afraid.
be
Be afraid.
afraid, but her match quality is dope, and she's like her look is so cool. She looks so different than anybody else. So
She looks
she's
like something out of Mortal Kombat. Like she literally looks
yeah,
like she
exactly.
could take your thigh, she could take her
That's a
legs and
fact.
chop your head off. That's how crazy
Nah,
and
that's
dangerous
a
she
fact.
looks.
She do look like an MK character. That's funny. Oh man. All right, cool. Any thoughts on Janai Kai from you, Megan?
Um, I just had to get a quick glimpse of her. Yeah, I wouldn't play with her. I wouldn't play with her. I would not play with her at all. But you know, yeah, I don't know. Just I'll
She
definitely
she
be
she
keeping an eye out on her.
she a, she a problem, and I'm glad that MLW picked her up because she's gonna be some like I wouldn't be surprised if she killed it on like an AEW, ROH, or NXT too. So good for her.
Yeah,
She's a great piece to build around. And a great top heel to have actually. Like she doesn't do a
yeah,
whole lot of talking, but when you are that lethal, do you really need to?
It's a
right.
fact. It's a fact.
That's true.
All right, the wrestler that I'm going to showcase, and I made a pivot because I initially was gonna possibly do a Saray or I think I was also thinking about Mayu Iwatani. But man, I gotta go to Tokyo Joshi Pro. Y'all see her in AEW sometimes. I gotta go with Maki Ito. Maki Ito is literally the most fun character. She's so badass. My goodness, like how could you not pick Maki Ito, man? Just the whole character, the mantra, the failed pop singer coming out singing, flicking people off. She was rocking with Nick Gage too for a little bit, so she got some stain on her resume. She's someone that is just a national treasure for pro wrestling, and you're blessed to see her kind of roam around all facets of the landscapes of pro wrestling. And us in America, we luckily got to see her in AEW, where she became a little bit more popular there, and she hits the indie scenes a lot whenever she's out here in the States. She's just her character is contagious. I don't know if you don't like Maki Ito, there's something completely wrong with you. And don't character aside, she could go in a ring. She's a very, very solid professional wrestler. That head is hard, man. She hits you with that, it's gonna hurt. So we love Maki Ito over there. She's the goat. She's the goat. Who's better than her? Roman can't even mess with her, yo.
Maki does my favorite Joshi wrestler. I don't care what anybody says. She is absolutely full of life. I went down the rabbit hole of when she showed up at AEW. I went down the rabbit hole and actually watched the story. There's a whole journey on YouTube of her entire run. You actually see her evolve and learn to wrestle all the way through to when she first joined AEW for those few shows. I Please watch it. It does her no just. It shows how great she is.
Like seriously, she's I don't know. She's special. There's like that sense of that aura that people always talk about. She's got a sense of aura to her that's just so fun, and it just adds the element to like why pro wrestling is fun with characters and all that. So yeah, man, big ups to Maki. All right, we are going against the clock, so we're gonna get this last one out there too. But we're not gonna rush through it. If we go a little bit past the hour, it's all good because this is for the ladies, man. They deserve it. We're gonna talk about the independent scene, and I love all the picks that we have over here. We're gonna start it off with you, Driz, because I know you are a big proponent of independent wrestling. Who you got for us?
Y'all know how I love my independent girlies. I am. I was conflicted because there it just goes so many times. I didn't know if I wanted to do Jocelyn. I didn't know if I wanted to do Faye Jackson. Didn't know if I wanted to do Karen Bam Bam. Didn't know if I wanted to do Vanity, who I currently am wearing her shirt. But overall, I had to go with the queen of OVW. Even though she does not have her belt right now, I give you Shalance Royal, a viral sensation who can sing and wrestle at the exact same time. There's only one other person I know that can do that, and we're not talking about him today. We're talking about Shalance. She is always going to be in the conversation for most entertaining women in wrestling. She's always going to be. I don't. You just have to sit there and watch. There are videos of her in the ring singing at this high key as she is got you in an armbar from it. I can't say enough great things about her. OVW has a gym with her, and I know she is destined. She's been on AEW a few times. She is destined for the big stage. She has taken what Jillian Hall done and ran with it so far. She has taken the ball and run to the end zone so many times with it. Shalance is definitely going to be up there with the Billy Starches in the future of wrestling. She is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic.
Jillian Hall. That is a incredible comparison. I like that a lot. Dude, I really wish if she does want to get signed, I pray NXT signs her. She would be an absolute gem on NXT television.
Yes.
Uh, she's so funny, and she's a great worker too. And yeah, OVW low key got some 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 hoopers on their women's division too. By
Yes.
the way, like people got to pull a little respect. Obviously, we know Hollywood Haley J. I know Layla Gray also does some work over there too. They got some
Mhm.
girls that are pretty proponent over there.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So salute to Shalance. She is a beast. And yo, if you ever Shalance, we're gonna clip this up so you see it. The door is open for you to come to Spotlight because I think I would love to have an opportunity for us to interview her. That would be
In
a
fact, if she
blast.
wants to, in fact, if she wants to come sit right next to me, she's in Louisville.
In person interview.
Hey,
Let's
right
talk.
here. Have a
Let's
seat.
talk
Yeah,
about it. Let's talk about it. I like that. Let's go,
that'd be
Drizzy.
fire.
The door is literally open for you for an interview on the Spotlight in person too, if you want to do that. Um, Megan, I'm
Yes.
curious to see who you are going to pick.
Well, I could not help but to pick a friend to the show, and that is Miss Nina Samuels. Um, she just had a match. She just had a match a few days ago against Thunder Rosa, and she suffered. a dislocated shoulder. So she is now on rest for the next 4 weeks. But I, as I mentioned before, I never really got into NXT UK, so I missed her career when that show was on. But after interviewing her with Ben, it I just drawn a interest in her and her career, and she has such a strong character that it makes you want to just zoom in and just focus on everything that she is telling you, and you don't want to argue with her. If she tells you the sky is purple, you just gonna agree to it. And I always have a love for wrestlers that can draw in on your attention like that. Um, but she's definitely a independent wrestler that I that really just have, like I said, just drawn my interest and keeps me interested in what she has going on, despite the fact that she's not here in the states and the time zone is a little wonky. But I try to keep up with what she's doing as much as I possibly can. So I just had to give a spotlight to her during this episode. I think she's um, a very important key to women's wrestling, especially in the indie circuits. So yeah,
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Friend of the show, like you said. Get
yes,
well soon. Recovery and all that. And I'm sure she'll be back tearing it up. All right,
yeah,
I'm gonna close it out. First and foremost, before I close it out, by the time this airs, it'll be done. But shout outs to Intense Action Wrestling IAW, my good brothers over there. They was If you haven't watched the spotlight last week, watch it. Support them. They're fire. I'm excited to see that. Salutes. I want to give an honorable mention to Sis Taylor Brooks, who's an incredible professional wrestler and character. She is definitely 101, Mr. Amazing. I hope you won the title by the time that happens. Just gotta do that. I promise I was gonna give a little bit of a shout out to the gang over there. My pick is going to be Alley Catch. Alley Catch is someone that I caught whim of a couple years ago as I, went through the rabbit hole of GCW a little bit more back in the day. And I think she is one of the most badass women in professional wrestling. She is carries a demeanor where she is just ready for any sort of action possible. She's got a sense of comedic timing as well, but she's so tough, rugged. She does the death match stuff. She's just an absolute stud, and she's one of these people that I'm just mind blown that how she isn't on a WWE stage, AEW stage. Obviously, she's done, enhancement talent matches in AEW, but like this is the type of talent where I look at it, I'm like, yo, you could really build a super strong character with her, and she could be a dominant force to be reckoned with for a women's division. She's that damn good, great in ring ability. And she just did something that me and Drizzy were talking about. She pulled a Seth Rollins. She turned on a teammate, Effie, the tag team. I don't know if I can say the tag team name over here, actually. I don't want to get it.
Bussy.
Uh,
Bussy.
yeah, she turned on on Effie, which they've been a team for a while. And now we get to kind of see this little heel era for her. I'm hoping we see the Effie Alley Catch death match. I feel like that might be a match of the year type of contender just off of the story alone. But like she's a special talent and she's an absolute star in the indie scene. So I want to give her flowers. We also saw her on the Progress show a couple weeks ago where she got to wrestle against Izzy Levo. So yeah, man, she's a beast, but that is my spotlight. And I think that's kind of all the time we have because we went over the clock for a little bit. But it's all good. We do stuff a little differently sometimes when it talks about the world of women's wrestling. Any
Yeah.
closing words from y'all before we end the show?
Um, yeah, we need that women's tag team championship rematch between Bianca Jade, Jakara, and Lash Legend. So let's make that happen on NXT, where I
Yeah.
know it'll get its proper
Um,
respect. Because if there's one thing Chef Michaels is gonna do is he's gonna serve us and serve us good.
Halloween Havoc coming.
Yes.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Uh,
That gotta be the main
I'm
event.
trying to.
Okay, if that is it.
Oh yeah.
It better.
Well,
It better.
then we got that match with Ethan and Trick.
Believe
Yeah, we
me, Trick
do.
Trick don't mind taking backseat for Lash one time.
Oh, I know he don't.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Uh,
Any closing words from you, Driz?
we need more people supporting women's wrestling. It
Yeah.
is not just a division. Like currently, one of the hottest divisions in all of wrestling is the women's division, and they need like as steps have been made to make it more prominent. There's still more movement that can be made.
Yeah.
Please go out there, support women's wrestling. Go when you see them tweet, like go on YouTube, check out some of their matches, buy their merch. You
Yep.
can't sit there and say that they need to have these women, all women shows if you're not going to put the money behind them. The
Facts.
WWE, AEW, all these companies are not going to put anything behind them if you do not go out there and physically support them. You
Right.
got to tweet about them. You got to show their videos, buy their merch, anything you can to support. Support women's wrestling. I don't even know how many more ways I can say it.
And I agree. And I'm gonna close on this. The reason we going over because y'all wrestling companies in the big leagues don't give them enough time. So we gonna give them the time and plus more over here because it's all love for women's wrestling. Thank y'all again, man. Sunday Spotlight. If y'all haven't subscribe the channel, comment, share this joint. This has been one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done with two of the best people in the game. Megan, the queen of Wrestling Republic. We couldn't do it without you, of course.
Yeah. I mean, look, I powered through. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather and short on hours of sleep. But when it comes down to women's wrestling, it's like you said, they're not getting the support that they deserve. And I wasn't going to miss this opportunity to spotlight women that I really feel like deserve the spotlight. So I was going to be here regardless. I might crash after this, but I was going to be here. I
For
wasn't going to miss it.
sure, for sure. All right, well, that's all the time we have. Y'all be safe, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.